It's that time when bad is good and terrible is even better. Yes, it's this week's Zayas Report, your weekly look at cult movies and other crap. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your host, the movie man who knows it all and where the bodies are buried. His horrorness, the Prince of Slime, the original invader for Mars himself, the man for whom the phrase B-grade was invented. Welcome, Zayas.
Well, welcome to podcast 18 of the Cult Movie Show. And yes, I know we're still playing the Zayas Report intro, but we are in the, we're getting a new one made. So don't worry about that. We'll have a new one very soon. So podcast 18, I am, of course, Warren. Thanks for listening in. And with me in the virtual studio, as always, is Velvet. How are you, Velvet?
Hey, I'm doing quite fantastic. We've got a night full of creature features, and we got a special guest, or special to me. I don't think he's special to you. And let's do this.
Yes, I have known this gentleman for many years. My good friend, Andrew. How are you, Andrew?
Oh, good, thanks, Warren, and good morning, Velvet. How are you?
Hello. Nice to meet you.
So, it is. You know, friends just getting together and having a bit of a chat about some absolute crap on toast movies, basically.
Totally.
Because we decided that for this podcast we would do a YouTube available sort of podcast, because we know that a lot of the movies we talk about, people, they'd like to see them, but they don't really want to go out and buy them and, you know, and do all that sort of thing. So we thought we'd do a 1960s creature feature tribute, and every movie is readily available on YouTube. So, it's going to be fun. And, I'll tell you what, did everyone survive watching the three choices we've got today? Did everyone?
Oh, goodness. Yeah, we picked some gems, didn't we?
We did.
4 hours
the crap of the crop.
Yeah, the creme de la scum.
Yeah, totally.
So look, we should start with movie number one. So let's just jump right into it. And this is fantastic. This is so bad it's good, I think is the best way to describe it. And it is The X from Outer Space, from 1967. And it is, look, if you like Japanese monster movies, this is one that a lot of people actually haven't seen, because it's not part of the, you know, Godzilla franchise or the Mothra franchise. It was totally independent, and not everyone has actually seen it, and maybe not everybody wants to see it, but look, I think it's good. It's definitely into cult status, which we'll talk about, you know, very soon. But to give everybody just a quick rundown, and then we'll just do what we normally do, and you know,
heap shit on it,
heap shit on it, and try to dissect it a little bit. But anyway, The X from Outer Space is it's all about the first attempted space landing on Mars, and humans attempt to land on Mars for the very first time. And so, but it doesn't quite go to plan. They send their spaceship up, and it keeps getting interfered with by UFOs. So they have to divert and land on their moon base, and then they will then take off again and try to land on Mars. Well, after they've landed on the moon and then try to go off to Mars, they then get intercepted by the UFOs again, and suddenly this stuff ends up being sort of put onto the spaceship. This sort of, well, it looks like shaving cream, doesn't it, really? And then they decide that, all right, this is too much of a discovery. They have to turn back and go back to Earth, and take this stuff with them. And they take it back with them. And, of course, what it actually is spores or little eggs. And in the atmosphere of Earth, this spore turns into a giant monster, which of course its only intention is to go and stomp on as many Japanese cities as it possibly can before they find a way to stop it. And so of course we all know what's going to happen. It's a Japanese monster movie. They're going to stop it in the end, but I won't give it away because I'm sort of hoping that the people will actually go and watch this one. What did everybody think? I mean, what did everybody think of It's from Outer Space?
Oof, oh my God, this movie was so boring. I struggled to watch this so hard. So the first time, yes, it took me more than one attempt to watch this movie. The first time, 20 minutes in, I was yawning, and all of a sudden I started texting on my phone. And next thing I knew, I was like, I'm not even watching the fucking movie. So I tried it again. The next day. And this time I was like, okay, I absolutely have to watch this movie. So I was like, I thought maybe I was just distracted the night before. This time I kept fucking count. Okay, the first 20 minutes, slow and boring. 30 minutes in, I was still bored. It wasn't until like the actual introduction of the fucking monster that I perked up a little. And then I was just like, okay, that was the only redeeming factor about this movie for me. I was like, how boring can a movie be that if you actually show people flying around in space, they actually showed flying saucers, and it's still boring? And I just, wow. And it's a movie has to be outrageously boring for me to say it's boring, because I'm a fan of movies that have a slow burn. I don't mind if it takes a movie, an hour to get to the point and to really pick up. But this one, I was just like, oh my God, no,
It does take a very long time. I think it's about 30 minutes in before we actually see the monster.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
What did you think, Andrew?
I was very disappointed. Well,
were you?
Well, I thought it was a documentary about my last girlfriend, because it would explain a lot. But obvious gags aside, look, it was pretty much as I expected. Lots of low points, a few high points. I agree with Warren. The best bit was the stomping monster. Although perhaps we can come back to this in a moment. Is the actual creature itself, the stupidity of the design of the creature with the big wobbly gnarly things at the top of his head. That was just thought, come on guys, we can do better.
Like shoulder pads.
We should explain a little bit what the monster actually looks like. Now, the monster is actually called what is it?
Well, it looked like Godzilla from the neck down, and then like a space chicken.
Yes, it did. It did look like a space chicken. It was almost a little bit like I don't know, Big Bird from Sesame Street's evil brother,
Space brother.
Was it like he was almost expected to? We'll have to talk about the music, but it was almost like it was almost like Big Bird. You expected the music to come in, come and play, everything's okay.
And then he crushes a building.
Yeah, that's exactly right. But yes, the monster does have a name, and you said it so well. Say it again, Velvet.
It's Gulala.
Gulala.
Ooh, I'm getting around.
But the thing to remember is that this movie was actually made to try to cash in on the Godzilla franchise. Was it the Toho actual franchise? So it's not related, in any way at all, and it shows.
No. And we have a few Western characters, don't we, Warren, in the film, and it's kind of hard to understand why, because you can't imagine the international sales for the X from Outer Space was ever going to be huge. And also, how hard is it to come up with a name that even goes Monsters from Outer Space? The X from Outer Space?
Yeah,
I was like,
it's
what?
a weird title, isn't it? It is a weird title, but the thing is that I think there's not that many Westerners in it. I think there's we've got the main scientist who's in charge of the space program.
And he sounds like Sigmund Freud.
I know.
He sounds like an Austrian psychologist. He's got this weird Austrian accent. I was like,
they all look like Nazi war criminals with the goatee beard and come to my place. We'll have martinis and drinks, and I'll show you where the gold is.
Because the original doctor on the spacecraft falls ill in the first part of the space voyage. And so when, of course, they land on the moon, they get a new doctor. But he doesn't want to go. He's really unwilling. That's like, and all they do when they're on the spaceship is they whinge and whine about the quality of the food. I mean, they've only been in space for like 3 hours, and they're already complaining about it. I mean, they're the worst space crew in history.
No,
I mean,
that was a really calm space crew, because let's also point out that they are supposed to be the 7th mission. The other, like, they had the prior mission, 6 failed missions. So I'm like, they all died. And
that's
this
right.
crew was like joking and playing around, and they're the happiest, calmest crew ever. I'm like, okay, if your success rate is 0, I would be pretty fucking nervous. But no, they're the 7th crew, and they're going to be the ones that succeed, and they're totally calm. But I was like, wow. Did I hear that right? Everybody died 6 times? I mean, not like cats. I mean, like
I know.
6 different crews died, and I'm just like, wow.
What I found most intriguing, Velvet, was
the love triangle.
Oh no, we'll come to that, dear. Don't worry, we'll come to that. No. Because when they're transiting between the moon and Mars, how in their really funky spaceship they get buzzed by flying baked goods.
The idea that the UFO looks like a flying pasty
or a pie or something.
Yeah, it does.
It is the weirdest alien ship design ever.
It really, you can almost see the crimping around the edges of where someone's we don't have a spaceship. Why don't we just use the apple pie that's sitting over there and fly it around? It does look weird. It really does look weird. But yes, you mentioned the love triangle, of course, which is because the other Westerner, of course, who's in this movie is the actress Peggy Neal. Yeah. And I don't think Peggy Neal was an actual full-on actress. I think
it would be hard to believe.
I think she only actually made 2 or 3 movies. Yeah.
3 movies.
And, but she was actually, I don't know, I don't think she was born in Japan, but she was basically raised and educated in Japan. So I'm not too sure if they literally just cast her because she was a Westerner available.
And she was fucking hot. Oh my god!
Yeah, moist.
She was eye candy. I was like, that was if it wasn't for her, I couldn't have stayed awake because I was like, she was just so pretty to look at. Because I was just like, the rest of this movie, I was like, okay, where's the monster? I'm like a little kid. I was like, where's the monster? When's the monster coming? Like I couldn't wait for the monster. So the rest of the time, I was just staring at Peggy Neal being blonde and beautiful.
Well, while we're talking about Peggy, it really does bring us guys to the best part of the film when they
not just the guys.
Well, they land on the moon. And they're bathing in special moon water, which apparently is different to Earth water. And then, and then Peggy flips the soap to what was her name?
It's
Machiko.
Machiko flicks her the soap under the shower stalls. I'm thinking this is about to get good at last.
Yeah, no, I thought the same thing.
And I'm thinking, hello,
is this happening? So, like, no, they teased us. But they knew how to get our attention.
But what did everybody think about? Yes, it's Michiko, isn't it? That's her name, Michiko. And and whenever she appears, like whether it's on a video monitor or because she's meant to be one of the moon base sort of operators, but she ends up joining the crew when they are trying to fight the monster. But whenever anybody sees her, when she appears on the video monitor, it's always, oh, Michiko. I mean, everybody is obsessed with Michiko.
She's like the weather woman.
Yeah, I know. It's like this obsession with Michiko. Like everyone's feeling a bit down or whatever, and suddenly she comes on the video monitor, and it's like, oh, it's Michiko, and everyone's dancing around for joy. I mean,
it was so odd. It was just like, I was like, what is going on with this woman? Because honestly, I thought she was going to turn out to be an alien, or she was some kind of like alien, hybrid spy. I mean, I was like, something's got to be going on with this fucking lady. I was like, they're putting so much attention on this character in this movie. Something's got to be going on. No, it's just that she's in love with Mr. Spaceman, and she's, I don't know, insecure, worried that he's in love with Peggy Neal, the beautiful blonde, and it was a stupid shoehorn love story that had nothing to do with anything in this movie. It was totally unnecessary, could totally cut it out. Just wasted time and energy.
But don't you think, Velvet, that with most of these Japanese films, and I hate to use the cliche, but there's definitely something that is lost in translation, like the cultural and social things that the stories they tell each other just don't equate to anything in Western culture. So suddenly you think, what the fuck are you doing? What are you talking about? Pass her the soap, but do it properly this time. It's just something
That
weird.
could be. Maybe that is all it was. Maybe it was just lost in translation because it just made no sense. It was just like
all of these films, they've all got weird things. You said, but why are you behaving like that? Why are you
exactly?
So it must be something in the indigenous culture that we just don't get.
It is,
or they're just dumb.
Well, it is. I mean, it's pretty strange. The other thing too is that did everyone love the fact that when they actually arrive on the moon, they've got all their dinner gowns and everything, and they all dress for dinner. I mean, they've all got their evening wear and all this sort of stuff. They're meant to be on a moon base, but they still dress for dinner. It's just
they did not leave their humanity behind when they left Earth. Okay,
but even when they go back to Earth, and this monster has escaped, the best thing they decide to do is let's have a party.
And the best line, I think the best line in the whole of the film, guys, was I think it was on the moon, but it was with Dr. Strangelove, the German with the goatee, and they're trying to find what the goo is, the space goo, and he says, forget about it, let's go to my house and have a party. But obviously the German accent. And I think, the world's about to end, but fine, fuck it, let's have martinis.
I'm actually looking at the cast list for this movie. So the doctor that we're calling the German doctor or Austrian doctor, whatever, Dr. Berman, his real name in real life was Franz Gruber. I was like, no one. Oh, so the German accent wasn't a put on. He probably really had a German accent. So I was just like, they were not typecasting him.
but the other thing too is that they, of course, to try to once it starts going on its rampage, destroying every city it can come across, because it's feeding on electricity, isn't it? From memory, is that what it's?
I don't know what the hell that thing was doing.
It's attracted to nuclear waste and all this sort of stuff. And as it's stomping on all the cities in Japan, and it's slowly making its way up to stomp on Tokyo. And the army, of course, is trying to stop it, so they send in their tanks and their aeroplanes, and we have
love that bit as well.
Yes, and we have the classic fight between the monster and the military, which of course we always get. But it's but they then discover this material which they call,
Gulanium.
Gulanium, and Gulanium basically just looks like shaving cream. I mean,
yes, it does,
and so they have to try to find a way to, of course, cover it in shaving cream, so they can actually destroy it. I mean, we've all seen Godzilla movies and all the rest of it. So how do we feel, like, Andrew? How do you feel it compares against the stuff we were getting from Toho at the same sort of time?
It definitely lacked the quality, I think. The precision. Well, those Godzilla films, I mean, there's real passion in those, even though it's for kids. Yeah. But there is a definite edge to them. The stories are a bit tighter. These things just ramble on and on and on, and there's no consequence. Like, it's very hard to be bothered with these guys. You think, go to the Mars, I don't give a fuck. Just whatever. But with the Toho films, with Godzilla, you think, oh, you bastard! Don't knock over another radio tower. I'll give you a punch in the nuts. That's outrageous.
Well, the other thing too is that in most of the other movies, it's always a monster versus another monster. So we always tend to get an evil monster and a good monster. So Godzilla, all right, he trashes cities and stuff, but he's still got a bit of a heart of gold. He's not
right.
really bad.
And I think these films, these are drive-in fodder.
Yes, yeah.
Have you noticed, guys, that all three films we're reviewing today, they all run for 1 hour and 19 minutes.
They do.
Really?
Yeah. And
They do. That's so odd. I didn't realize that till now, yeah.
Yeah, and I can't help thinking that they must be, tailored for a very specific market, or perhaps one of the listeners can tell us, but for drive-ins or Japanese TV or something.
Well, that's very interesting. Although realistically, in Japan, because I don't think Japan ever embraced the drive-in, idea. But in cinemas, I mean, maybe they were being made to a very set timepiece. Yeah, look. I mean, I really don't know, but it's. But the thing is that this was a cinema release movie. You know, this was designed, in 1967 for people to go along to the cinema and actually watch. But no, I agree with you, Andrew. I don't think it really grasped the idea of what monster movies generally were about. I mean, even when we have opposition companies, for instance, like the Mothra franchise is that's made by the same company. The Flying Turtle, Gamera. Now, that was an opposition company, but it still managed to grasp the same ideas. So they're very similar movies. But this thing really was it was just like they were cashing in to see if they could make $1 out of it.
Yeah, this movie didn't have a message at all, from what I could tell. I mean, and not that every monster movie has to have a message. It could just be for pure entertainment, which I guess is what they were going for. But I mean, like, even with the Godzilla films, there's good versus evil, and maybe that was the only message in this movie. But I mean, even with Godzilla, it's the whole. A lot of times, man is really his own enemy with atomic warfare and that kind of thing. Whereas this thing was we were just trying to advance ourselves by exploring space, and just a little random creature kind of hitched a ride home with us.
I know.
That's right, and the whole time, even with bad films, like you can get engaged, you can get hooked. And I was waiting for that with this film. What happens?
Never came.
No,
it never happened.
You just think, go die in space, who cares? You idiots.
Yeah, I've got to admit, it's... but they tried to sort of get the crew, I suppose, cast correctly. I mean, we've got the tough commander, We've then got the female scientist who's... and she's pretty game, in this. Like, she's prepared to, do the hard yards, take risks, and, not scream every 5 seconds sort of thing. We've then got, the doctor, who's the reluctant astronaut. We've also then got the communications officer, who's the comic relief. He's always doing that sort of silly thing. And then we've got, Michiko, who I think in many ways she's actually meant to be the eye candy, actually. I don't think... Peggy Neal was meant to be the eye candy. I think it's actually Michiko. Would everyone agree with that, or am I maybe
it might
read
be
it wrong?
Beauty standards, because I mean, in Western culture, obviously the blonde hair was most likely going to catch the blonde. I mean, the Western culture. And the Eastern culture, Michiko was obviously the dish. So that maybe that was just their kind of way to cash in, kind of like, here, we got something for everybody. Here's the monster, here's the blonde, here's the brunette.
Yeah, and Julie, the blonde. Her features are very striking. The blonde hair, very aquiline nose, very striking contrast in appearance to the rest of their cast, and maybe cast, as you say, for that reason, just to add a little bit of texture.
Well, it's the thing that's still, and we mentioned it when we started talking about this, is the fact that it takes 30 minutes literally out of an hour and 19 before we even see the monster, and we just have all this stuff about them in the spaceship, and whether they want to go, and there's these UFOs, and they all get to visit fucking was it Michiko? And it's just it's just the film takes so long to get going.
And I think really, guys, the measure for this is think about watching this when you really want to watch it when you are 9 or 10. And if you had to wait 30 minutes for the monster, it's too late. You've got to have it the first 10 minutes.
I couldn't handle it as an adult. I was just like, this... I was like, there's no way I could have watched this as a kid. I would have been like,
Why are we watching it then?
I know. I think they were actually trying to do a bit of a, like we were talking about Jason X last week, the fact that it's a crossover movie, so it's horror and science fiction, and I think that's maybe kind of what they were trying to do. They were trying to cash in onto two genres. So the first half of the movie is basically sci-fi, and then the second half of the movie is monster movie. So, but instead of intermixing them, so it would have worked really well, it literally runs as two movies. The start sci-fi and the end is monster, which is, I don't know, it's just crazy. It doesn't make any sense.
I did like the monster, though, because it was so cheesy. so goofy. I mean, it was totally obviously a guy in a suit. It had to be because that's just what they had back then. But I liked the monster. I don't know. I just thought he looked so funny. And like, he just looked so buff. Like he drank some protein shakes, was hitting the gym, before filming began. He's like, I got to get in shape for this movie. And he just looked like he had like giant shoulder pads on. I don't know. I like the way it looked. It made me laugh. I liked watching the monster. And you could tell the guy that was in this suit was totally going for it. He's like really trying to just like, you could see at some points like he's looking around for half a second like, what can I break now? What can I break now? What can I stomp now? Like you could see he was like trying to do his best as this monster.
I just saw a giant walking KFC.
I've got to admit, the monster did have some meaty hocks, didn't it? I mean, two giant chicken drumsticks that it basically walked around on. But but its resemblance, it's often referred to just, when people talk about this movie as the chicken monster. Because it does resemble a chicken much.
Can I just pressure test that statement, please, Warren? You say when people talk about this.
Well,
is anyone other than us talking about this?
You would be surprised. Actually,
I probably
you would be surprised. This movie is actually reviewed.
I know Leonard Maltin loves it.
It is actually reviewed quite a lot. If you hop onto YouTube, you'd be stunned at how many people have actually reviewed this movie. And this is the other thing, we said at the start that this movie really has written itself into cult culture. And I suppose the way to prove that was that in 2008 they actually remade this movie.
It put the cult into culture.
Well, it's and it was called Monster X Strikes Back at the G8 Summit.
Oh, now you're talking.
But the difference was that when they remake a lot of movies or TV shows, quite often, the remake is a comedy rather than, like with 21 Jump Street was done as a comedy. The Brady Bunch was remade as a comedy rather than being serious. And the Japanese did the same thing with Monster X Strikes Back. It's actually a piss take of the Japanese monster movies, which is, really, and all the characters at the G8 Summit, it's like they're all so culturally specific. Like the French president just wants to basically pick up the Japanese
shag and eat garlic.
Yes, it's the
wrong with that.
The British Prime Minister just wants to do whatever the American president wants to do. The American president basically just wants to go to war with everybody. It's so set in its sort of typecasting of different nations, sort of thing. So it's really worth watching, actually. Monster X Strikes Back.
While we're talking about this, can I put in a request for a future podcast?
Of course.
Destroy all monsters.
Yes.
Well, destroy all monsters.
My mum took me and my brother when I was 5 to see this at the Baldwin Cinema. It was school holidays, and we saw it on TV. Mum! And we spent the afternoon watching that, and it's become my favourite monster movie.
Well, it's a very important Godzilla movie, actually, Destroy All Monsters, because it was actually made around about the same time as X from Outer Space, in the late it was actually the early 70s, I think, wasn't it?
Where?
Destroy All Monsters.
No, we saw it in 1970, so it's got to be...
So late 60s. And so it's a similar time it would have been made to this. But what's so important about Destroy All Monsters is its title. It brought all of the monsters that had so far been used in Godzilla movies for a giant showdown, where... what was it? Aliens land on Earth, and they're using the monsters to try to...
Maybe we should save it.
Yes, all right.
It's really funny, because I watched the DVD a few years ago, and I'm thinking, how the fuck did we watch this when we were 5? Because I couldn't understand, I couldn't follow it.
That's how I felt about the Monster Squad.
Oh, I know.
That we reviewed recently. I was like, I'm confused about the plot as an adult. How did I love this as a kid?
But it doesn't matter though, does it? Because it's just, if it's got big fruity monsters going, it doesn't matter.
But I think the thing I love about, and it's one thing I suppose we should bring up talking about this, is that, of course, Hollywood's made 2 attempts now to make Godzilla movies. And what's everyone's thoughts about America's attempt to try to do this genre of movie?
You first, Velvet.
Okay, thanks. I like the most recent attempt because it was a more true to story attempt of Godzilla. There's always going to be critique because it's not the original and it's not the original source material and it's not the original production company. But I did like what they did with it. It does have a little bit of Hollywood flavor, but I have to put this out there. This is going to be a controversial statement. It has my all-time favorite Godzilla kill of every fucking Godzilla movie I've ever seen in the American one. Boom, we did it. I won't spoil it for people who haven't seen it, but the sickest Godzilla kill ever.
Oh.
All I gotta say.
Okay.
All I gotta say.
That's okay. That's interesting. Well, what about you?
The latest one, Warren, has passed me by. Unfortunately, I haven't seen it yet.
But you saw the
original
Matthew
one.
Broderick.
Yeah, with the Led Zeppelin soundtrack. That was
that one's terrible. But the most recent American one, this is the one I'm applauding.
Yeah, the soundtrack for the first one was the best bit with the da 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 da. That was apparently Jimmy Page
with a fucking P Diddy back then, Puff Daddy and Jimmy Page.
Yeah, apparently Jimmy Page is a huge fan of this sort of thing. But yeah, the film just there was nothing in it. They find this beastly thing. There's something wrong, and it trashes New York. We've all done that, you know? So what? And Matthew Broderick, I quite like him, and Hank Azaria. I think it was okay.
Oh, Hank Azaria is fantastic.
But there was again, there was not much tension. I mean, the thing just trashes the joint.
Yeah.
I mean, Donald's going to do that.
Well, it was also interesting. The thing I didn't really like about it, well, apart from the fact that it was so un-Godzilla-like. And I'm not talking about the
character design.
We're talking about 1998.
Yeah,
right?
that's right. Now, I'm talking about the
Okay.
story. I'm not actually talking about the monster. Because, yes, this is a CGI monster, of course, being American, rather than a man in a rubber suit, which, believe it or not, because there is a brand new Godzilla, of course, being released now, actually. It's about to come out now. And
Shin Godzilla.
yes, and it's still a man in a rubber suit. You know,
yes,
it's like the Japanese refuse to... I mean, they still have CGI in their modern movies, but the monster itself must be a man in a rubber suit who trashes a model town. And I love that. And that American version just lost all of that for me, the story. Mm-hmm. And also, they played with the whole idea of, nuclear war, radiation, and stuff like that. But the thing I hated about it, of all the countries in the world, I think America has probably set off more nuclear weapons than France, but they blame this whole problem of Godzilla on the French, which I thought was just a little bit unfair.
That's a fair comment.
And they even had my favorite French actor, Jean Reno.
Oh, I know. Look, I think that movie was saved by one scene, and that is his obsession to get a real cup of coffee in America.
Oh, yeah.
Because he cannot get a proper cup of coffee in America. And one of his soldiers turns up where they're staying, and he's got a tin of instant coffee, but it's called French roast. And their obsession with all chewing gum, so they think it'll make them look more American. And no, but it's
hamburger.
Yeah, but anyway, yes, we're not actually talking Godzilla, of course. We're talking the Ets from outer space. So would everybody? So what do we reckon? Thumbs up, thumbs down, or?
For me, this is a leave it running in the background kind of movie. Like if you're having a party, this is a great movie to just turn off the sound and just have it up on the flat screen and or if you have a projector, go for it and just have it like screening on a wall and just having it like as background decoration because it looks cool when the monster comes out because it's funny and it's cute and it's campy. But to actually like sit down there in silence and like watch and analyze this film and look for the hidden meaning and the philosophy. Fuck that. It's a background movie. This is a movie I would like while I'm cleaning, while I'm painting my nails, something where I can have it running and there's noise. And every once in a while I'll look up and see a monster. That's cool. But no, I wouldn't recommend it as actual viewing.
So it's thumbs down from you, Velvet.
Yeah, I'll say one thumb down and one thumb up.
Okay. What about you, Andrew?
Well,
what did you come away with?
Well, I know your rating scale is the Eric Roberts scale.
Oh, we haven't mentioned that. We're thinking about bringing that.
All right.
Actually, should we actually just do that now?
No. Well, we should actually do this as a separate segment, I think, to explain the genius of
we can explain it now. And then we can...
Okay, well, I'll give it my rating. I'm giving this 1 tube of Preparation H.
One tube of Preparation H.
Oh, wow.
Okay. All right. So what we were thinking about doing, and we may as well start it right now with this podcast. So was that, and I haven't told anybody this yet, is that I used to do a movie review Twitter page, which was called Mr. B Grade many years ago, where I used to, in 140 characters, do reviews of crappy movies. And every movie was basically rated in Eric Roberts. So it was 1 Eric or 2, because Eric Roberts, of course, is the king of B-grade cinema. So, so it was either 1 Eric, 2 Erics, 3 Erics, 4 Erics, or 5 Erics if it was great. So I sort of figure, why don't we start doing that from now on? So I'll start off. So I actually liked this movie, even though it's very slow to get going, because I like anything from Japan. I love monster movies. I love cheesy sci-fi. I actually reckon it's good. So I'm actually going to give this 4 Erics.
Wow.
4 out of 5 Erics.
Okay.
So
I'm sorry, I had to get used to this new rating system.
So yeah, 4 Erics. I'm going to give it 4 Erics. Yeah, and what if you've got to put it into
talking big, mister?
Well, if you've got to put it into rated by the true king of B cinema himself, the great man, Mr. Roberts, how many Erics would you give it, Andrew?
Oh, look, I'd really struggle to give it 1, I'm afraid.
1 Eric.
1 Eric.
Okay, I was going to say 1.5 Eric. Which I'm trying to visualize, should it be the top half of Eric or the bottom half of Eric? So I'm not sure yet.
So 1.5 from you. So that's that 4, 5, 6.5 out of 15 Erics. That's not very good. I mean, but we could actually do it as what is it, Dolph Lundgren's or
I love Dolph Lundgren.
I know, but I thought Eric is he's the master.
Yeah, I think Eric's better. He's more more people know how to pronounce his name.
That's right, and because I just pronounced Dolph incorrectly, so but
we could have Bridget Nielsen's BN's. Because that also works. I think you'll both agree.
Well, it does, but I think the fact that Eric Roberts starred in such great classics such as Raptor and Sharktopus.
Right. Oh yeah,
and he has 450 movie credits and counting. He has oh my god, he has 450 movie credits and counting. He's still working.
Yeah,
it's insane. He's the king of B movies.
You almost can't watch an American B movie without Eric Roberts being in it. I mean, he's
even in the fucking Human Centipede Part 3.
He had a great cameo in my favourite show. That's just
yes.
No, his favorite show.
He can't remember it. It's that good.
No, the Adrian Grynett thing where he was playing Mark Wahlberg. The Entourage.
Entourage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was piss funny in Entourage, playing himself.
Yes, yeah. Look, I really like him actually. To be
I
honest.
like him. I love him. I think he's hot.
Yeah, he's great. Although, but he was in the very first Expendables, wasn't he too? That we absolutely shit-canned, I think, a few podcasts ago. But he played the very original villain, I think, in that franchise. Yeah, Eric Roberts.
He's a good villain, that's for sure.
Oh, he's a great villain. He's a great villain, yeah.
Yeah, totally.
So, all right. So, look, we'll take a quick break and we'll be back.
In fact, let's ring Eric. Let's get him on the show.
So, look, we'll take a quick break and we'll be right back with movie number 2.
We're just careening off the track.
This is going to be a long edit.
Oh, God. That's staying in there.
Okay.
The Only Funny to Us podcast with brand new episodes every Monday night at 8 at onlyfunnytous.com.
And we're back with, this is a creature feature from 1965, and I don't know. I reckon people are going to either love this or hate this. I've got a feeling there's going to be no real sort of, in between. But it is the Eye Creatures, or Attack of the Eye Creatures, as it's also sometimes called. So from 1965. So we'll just give you a quick rundown, and then we can start to have a dissection of this movie. Now, it basically all starts with the Air Force, the US Air Force, and they've got a special department which is basically what to do if aliens come to Earth. And they start to notice that they start to film spaceships in space and all the rest of it. And so anyway, a spaceship does come to Earth, and so this special unit is sent out to, we'll try to deal with it. Basically, make it go away, make it disappear from human memory. And but of course, it lands in a small town, which of course has lots of teenagers, almost a bit blobbish, actually. This with the teenagers need to try to save the day, and these creatures called the eye creatures, I suppose, come out of the flying saucer and start to go on not much of a killing rampage, actually. They really don't do very much apart from hide behind the bushes and look at people. But anyway, so in the end, of course, the Air Force, try to take care of the spaceship, while it's left to our teenagers to try to take care of the alien eye creatures, because of course none of the adults in the town will actually believe them. So, what did everybody think? The eye creatures.
Well, may I say, you bastards, this is an hour and 20 of my life I will never get back.
You did enjoy it,
guys. I struggled with this. I mean, we all love these cheesy films, and they have a charm. But as you say, Warren, there is not much attacking going on. And help me here: the eye creatures, they've got eyes, but what? Like, why? I thought they'd come to Earth to gouge people's eyes out or something. But as you say, they're more like perverts. They just shuffle about behind the shrubs and don't do anything. It's hardly an attack, and there are no eyes.
I've got to admit, there does seem to be quite a lot of voyeurism in this movie. Whether it's done by,
oh my god,
whether
so
it's done
perverts.
by, I know whether it's done by the aliens themselves,
or the Air Force,
the Air Force itself. But
that was really creepy.
But before we start to talk about some of the really weird things that happen in this movie, what was your general sort of thought though, Velvet?
You said there isn't any in between on this one. Either you love it or you hate it. I'm the in between. I liked it because I thought it was funny. I was expecting it to be cheesy and cheap and unbelievable and not make any sense and have bad acting. And I mean, it met all my expectations.
You got all that. You got it.
Yeah, it met all my expectations. So I liked it. It was everything I expected it to be.
One thing I've got to admit though is it does take quite a while to get moving. It's a little bit like It's from Outer Space we spoke about before. It takes a while for stuff to actually like every scene or everything that anyone does in this movie seems to be extremely drawn out. Like if we see somebody driving in a car or walking down the street, they could do it in 2 or 3 seconds.
I could remake that film in 15 minutes.
It did. Well, I have to admit, it did seem a little bit like, so what is this? Another hour and 9. Was it hour and 19 exactly
Another
again?
Hour and 19.
And it did seem like it could have been maybe compressed into 40 minutes. Maybe.
4 minutes. But there was no payoff, guys. Like, I was waiting for the monsters to go rampaging through small-town America and zap them or cover them in space goo or something really cool. But they just sort of shuffle around, and who knows why they came. We never found out.
No, we don't find out why they came. And also, it's... yes, they come to Earth and then they just hide in the bushes looking at people. It's kind of, or in the closet. Did you notice the one that was in the in the closet?
That was a bit fruity.
Yeah, but that was
I think that was purposely. It was supposed to be a comedic moment too.
Yeah.
Obviously, that wasn't supposed to actually be a scary moment. This movie reminds me, actually, not so much story wise, but style wise. It reminds me a lot of Plan 9 from Outer Space. Bad acting, drawn out shots, and super cheap budget.
Yeah.
And I was like, this reminds me of Plan 9 from Outer Space. They show super fake UFO footage right at the beginning. Just the acting, especially the fucking army guys that keep using the infrared scanner and they're supposed to be watching space, but they keep checking on teenage
kids necking.
Couples
How
parking,
creepy,
you know.
How
I
creepy
know.
was that?
Oh,
I mean,
oh
I'm
my
sure
God.
when they were about to give each other a reach around, I'm sure it was very bizarre.
Totally.
It was, but it
Totally.
was horrible.
And it's meant to be the comic relief, this, voyeurism,
Right.
but they do it once, right? And you sort of think, all right, there's the joke. They're using military equipment to spy on, on people, but they keep redoing it. Oh, how many times do these two Air Force guys zone in on the couples making out? It must be 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, even the couples were weird because that one couple, the woman's like, I feel like somebody's watching us. And of
I
course
know.
he was. But then he's like, the guy she's making out with is like, they are, and then we're going to watch them. And I'm like, what?
Oh, I know.
Oh.
Wow. Everybody's a freak in this movie. But okay.
That was really weird, or all of that. But then again, it was meant to be the comic relief bit, and it's but even just the expressions these two Air Force guys, put on their faces, and it's just like it's like they're meant to be monitoring via this infrared thing, the spaceships coming to Earth and landing. But they keep missing the spaceships all the time because they're too busy perving at the people.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of,
it was really tacky.
No, totally. Well, plus what they were looking at, they're watching people kiss. I'm like, seriously?
yeah.
That's kind of weird.
Yeah.
It's not like they're getting naked, and it's not like people are having sex in the cars. It was just kind of like you're watching zoomed in on two people's heads sucking lips.
I know.
The thing I did like about this was the cars. I think the local Chevrolet dealership must have lent them, because the kids back then, they drove very nice cars.
I know, right? Yeah,
pretty
totally.
expensive cars for the time.
The Chevrolet Impala
Totally.
soft top.
Yeah.
Well, there was nothing else to buy. I mean, you bought your dress, you bought your hairspray, you bought your cigarettes. Okay, now all your money can go to your car.
Good plan.
But it's another one. But it's another one of these. I suppose the story's been done so many times where, of course, the teenagers know what's going on, but the adults don't believe them, and so
Right.
the teenagers have to.
That's right. You kids are crazy. Have you been drinking?
Yeah.
You're a roughneck. You know, like. But also, there's the thing about this film. Like, there was no one in the film. I don't know what you think, Phil, but there were no sympathetic characters. Like, I didn't care if they all
Oh my
burned-
God, the girl!
burned to-
Yeah.
The girl, the
She was
main
so-
girl. She was always screaming, and she had the most annoying hairdo. I
But-
know it's supposed to be like
Daddy-
a beehive hairdo,
Yeah.
but it just bugged the shit out of me. I'm
But
just
Daddy-
like, here, let me pull out the pin.
Yeah.
and just wear your hair down.
And Daddy
That
was always
beehive
gonna-
was just,
Yeah, but Daddy was always
it looked
gonna-
like she looked like one of the aliens from Independence Day. You remember that movie? The
Yes.
aliens, like the way their heads
Yep.
were shaped. That's what her hairdo looked like.
Yeah.
It annoyed me to know.
But there was no one in it that you really cared about, because they were all just schmucks.
No.
And the
Yeah.
two itinerant guys that were trying to make money out of the aliens.
Yes.
You know, like one of them died. The first guy died. Who cared? Even his friend didn't
No,
care.
his friend didn't care less, did he?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, he was just like, oh, he died, huh? Oh, who do you say killed him? Oh, okay.
Okay.
yeah. And
When they first ran over an alien and it died, but they were like, they got out of the car to go look at the alien. They go, let's take it to a hospital.
I know. But what did everybody think of the ongoing story in this about the severed hand? Now, it's
The hand on a string.
Yes, we should.
Oh, you're so critical, Velvet.
we should explain that when our two stars, the two teenagers who in real life were probably actually about 29, but playing teenagers, when they it's a bit like what was it, The Blob? I mean, how old was Steve McQueen? I think he was in his 30s. And he was playing a 16-year-old, But in this, when they run over the alien and they kill the alien, and its hand is severed in the car crash, but the hand doesn't die. It's like, what is it? The thing from Adam's Family. It just it roams around the forest. It climbs into cars. It does all this various different stuff. And why? What was this hand all about?
No.
No, it deflated a tire. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it was. I think that was what film's one concession to horror.
Okay.
Because nothing else was happening. So, here's a cheap special effect.
Well, I was expecting the hand to actually start attacking people. But then
I was
then
praying for it.
But then again, the problem is you would have had to rename the movie Attack of the Severed Hand rather than Attack of the Eye Creatures.
Attack
Oh, I
of the
was
Seven
just
Hand
reading some of
Eye
the trivia.
Creatures.
They fucked up on the title card because it was originally called The Eye Creatures, then they called it Attack of the Eye Creatures, and then when they had to remake it and put it into the movie, they wrote Attack of the Eye, or was it Attack of the Eye?
Oh, really?
Yeah, but it's double thud.
Oh, that is just amazing. But the other thing too is that what I loved was the when they filmed it, obviously filmed over a couple of days, they filmed it basically all in daytime, but it's meant to, of course, be at nighttime. And there's a reason why, because these aliens can't. Well, we find. I'll give it away. I don't think it's going to matter. These aliens,
go ahead.
These aliens basically blow up if they're exposed to light.
It's like a really, really extreme form of photosynthesis.
Yeah, I know. But the amazing thing is, even though it's all set over one night, once again,
It
just
seems
like
to run
the Blob,
for weeks.
but it's but 1 minute it's daytime, the next minute it's night. 1 minute it's daytime again, then it's night.
Yes,
because they didn't put the bloody filters on half the time when they shot it.
Oh, God.
And so it they were meant to obviously put the blue filters on so it would look like night, even though they're shooting the day. But I think the cameraman just forgot to put the filters on.
Are you surprised, Warren?
Well, yeah, but the other thing too is that what I didn't realise until I actually read up a little bit about this is that this movie is in fact a remake. It's not actually the original movie. It is a remake of a 1957 movie called Invasion of the Saucermen.
Oh, no, I've seen that. We should maybe do that one next because that was properly crap.
Yes.
Oh man.
This movie isn't. This movie is even a remake. So, but
it takes stuff directly from that movie too. I mean, exact same dialogues copied, and there's even a mention of the guy the one human that gets killed. And they say, oh, he died because of alcohol poisoning. It was supposed to be that the alien poisoned him with alcohol, but they never mentioned that in this remake.
Yeah.
It's just this plot hole.
What? Can I talk about one of the great missed opportunities in this film? When they steal into the old farmer's house to use his antique telephone.
Yes.
That could have got really gothic. It could have gone really Norman Bates. Because he comes home, he finds them using the telephone, and he's got his shotgun, and it could have gone really freaky. It could have got really nasty there. But it just gives them a ticking off for being crazy kids, and they fuck off.
Well, he's only got, was it rock salt loaded into his shotgun anyway?
Yeah, but that'd knock the ducks off your.
It could have been torture porn. It could have turned into a torture porn where he repeatedly shoots them with rock salt.
Or he could have peeled off his face to reveal he was in fact an eye creature, and he was going to do horrible things to them. But no, he just sends them on his way and tells you, "Damn kids, you meddling kids, get off my land."
What do you guys think of the eye creatures?
Rubbish.
Well, you didn't like him.
What was that big hole under that? I think
that's meant to be their mouth.
That's what I thought. I thought it was supposed to maybe be their mouth. I like how they didn't have enough costumes, so some people just had the eye creature head, and then they wear black, so it looked like a floating head. It looked like a floating head.
But guys, what do you think? This was actually called eye creatures. One of the standout features of their alienness would be their eyes. But that's all it was. They had sort of regular shaped eyes placed at a couple of odd points on their head. I wouldn't call them eye creatures.
I actually thought the monsters didn't look too bad if this had have been shot in black and white rather than colour. I actually reckon in black and white the creatures would have looked all right. But in colour, they were just a bit cheap, I think. But
totally.
But then that's the fun of it. I mean, I don't want these monsters to look too good. I want them to look crappy.
It wasn't too bad. I just wish they'd done something. I wish they'd leapt out of from the brushes and made some nasty noises and messed up her hair, ripped her pearls off, and frightened the hell out of her. But not just sort of stand around and shuffle a few trees. What were they here on Earth for? What was their purpose? Was it to steal some human eyes? to replace their own stupid fucking
Still
eyes.
human eyes.
You know, like
Oh my god!
what was the point of the mission?
Replacement eyes.
Yeah,
My favorite part was when they started blowing them up with lights. That just when
Yeah.
they very first did that. That just made me laugh so hard. I was just like, "Oh yes, okay, this is the best part of the movie.
We're out
this
of
is how
budget."
we kill them. Just shine a light on them and they explode."
I mean, it was a pretty easy way, you know, but then again, it's often a really easy way. I mean, the Blob, they kill it with, well, they don't kill it, but they stop it with fire extinguishers, CO2. You know, so, I mean, quite often there's just a simple way, you know, I mean, that's what I loved about, you know, we think about the comedy Mars Attacks, you know, the sci-fi send-up, and if you remember, they killed that by playing yodeling music. It makes their heads explode. So
That makes a lot of people's heads explode. So that was a plausible plan of attack in that movie.
that is a great film. That is a great film. But it's no. I mean, look, I didn't mind this. I quite liked it. I just thought it was just a bit too slow in parts. You know, because I think it actually had a good concept, you know, that idea of the adults don't believe the teenagers, so the teenagers have got to sort of solve the problem themselves. You've then got the military who are trying to hide it all and cover it all up. The only thing that I just want to know what everyone else thought about this, was that the teenagers and the military never meet. It's like you've got two different movies almost running side by side.
Mm-hmm.
Did you what did everyone think about that? Did they think that was a bit
I think that was
strange?
just budgetary constraints. Okay, today we have all the military people on set, so let's just shoot all their stuff today. Okay, you guys come back tomorrow and we'll shoot your stuff tomorrow, all the teenage stuff. I think that's all it was just budgetary constraints. I don't think they had the time, money, or budget to shoot everybody all at once.
What did you think about that,
I
Andrew?
actually think, guys, that it's actually a completely different film that was never finished, and they've just stitched.
And they want to put the two
They
together.
just stitched the two together. Because you're right,
might be what they
There's no
did.
crossover.
That might be what they did.
That's a really interesting point. You bring that up, because that has been done before. Actually,
That's right, and because the styles are so different, like the Air Force guys, that sort of are in turns very comic and then very serious and a bit satirical, and then the style of the rest of the film with the crazy kids and the old farmer and the copper, it's a completely different style of dialogue and filming, and it's like, oh, what have we got here? Oh, let's. Stick these two together.
I don't actually think it was two films put together, but it's an interesting idea though. But no, I think there is a lot of crossover, even though the actors are never together in the same sort of room or on the same set. But then again, we've seen that, you know, in a number of movies. I mean, even recently, what was it? Shark and Saw Prison Massacre or whatever it was.
My favourite.
With directed by, was it Jim Wynorski? Now, for instance, that starred Tracy Lords, and the interesting thing about that film is that Tracy Lords,
She
all
plays the
her
copper?
stuff. Sorry,
She plays the police.
the police officer,
Yeah,
yeah. And in that movie, she never meets any of the other cast. It's actually shot quite separately, and you've actually got these two stories running side by side. So I think that's all it really is. But it's sort of,
Except she's a talent. They would have paid big bucks for her, so maybe they could afford her for one day. Whereas anyone in this film is there's no one for. Although it's funny, guys, I often look in these films at the cast lists to see whether there was anyone in them that went on to great things.
yes.
And the only the closest I could find was someone in the cast called Shirley MacLaine.
Shirley MacLaine. Oh, dearie me. It's
There she is. Yeah, there it is. I'm looking at the cast list now. Yeah, that was close.
It's look, it reminds me a lot of the Blob without all the coolness of the Blob. I do see a lot of similarities. We spoke about it, with the teenagers aren't believed and they have to do all the fighting and stuff. And but it doesn't move at the pace of the Blob. It doesn't. It's not just quite as cool. But I still like this.
But there's no real menace in this film. Like the Blob was threatening to take over, the city.
Yeah.
Whereas this film, it's just these kids arguing, or the young man trying to reassure his slightly frantic girlfriend that everything's going to be all right. We're responsible kids. Remember that, honey. And there's all this talk about nothing. And hopefully the aliens was like digging in and spreading their horrible, evil spores and getting ready to take over. But they weren't. They were just standing around in the bushes.
Well, one thing to ask everyone about is that were these some of the best behaved teenagers in the world? I mean,
Absolutely.
they don't. I mean, their concept of sex is just kissing each other. They don't drink. The worst thing that they actually don't do drugs. There's nothing like that. The worst thing they actually do is stay out late at night kissing each other
And stealing telephone calls from the farmer.
Well, yes,
but only in case of an emergency. I mean,
That's right. That's true.
otherwise.
So look, I don't know. Look, I actually think. How do I rate this one? I mean, I'm going to go a little bit lower on this one, I must admit, and I actually reckon I'll probably give it 50%. So I'll give it 2.5 Erics.
Ooh.
2.5. It's
okay.
I just found it. I think I would have got a bit more if it was a bit pacier, if it was a bit faster, for me. So what about you, Velvet? What are you? How many Erics would you score this?
I'll give it a 3 Eric Roberts because, like I said, it met all my expectations. Bad acting, silliness, cheap special effects. I liked it. It's one of those things that if it's on and I've got nothing else to do, I can just sit and watch it. This is definitely a good movie to drink to. This is a movie I should have popped open a bottle
yes.
of pink champagne and ordered a pizza, and that just would have made my night. So yeah, this is definitely a movie to drink to.
We'll see you in about an hour then. We're coming over.
I really reckon this is just classic drive-in cinema. In that American, like North American, well, and Australia. I actually think, what is it? United States, Canada, and Australia were really about the only big drive-in nations, weren't they? I don't think there really were any others. I mean,
I don't think so.
I mean,
not either.
Well, you need people with cars and lots of cheap land for these things. And,
right,
yeah.
totally.
Basically, kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose that's true. I mean, when were drive-ins really big? Basically, from the 60s, 70s, and 80s?
Up till mid-70s, I guess.
I totally forgot to mention this. This is kind of random, but I just have to throw it out there before I forget again for the millionth time. There's actually a drive-in sex movie theater in Texas that's still in operation, and they show current pornos.
Oh my
Seriously, at a drive-in.
But how do you
I'll
stop?
tell you more about it off air.
But how on earth do you stop the local kids, from watching it?
I don't think it's a place I would go to, but it does exist.
We'll talk about that off air.
That's amazing. I do remember when I was a kid, there was a restaurant that my parents used to go to quite a lot. And it was actually next door to an old drive-in, which was in Melbourne. Doesn't exist anymore, obviously. And
this is Rob's.
This was Rob's restaurant. Do you remember Rob's restaurant? Yeah. And but what they had to do, because in order for the drive-in to start making money, on Saturday nights it started playing softcore B grade erotica movies. Emmanuel Goes to Hong Kong and all this sort of stuff.
Those Filipino action films that had Pam Grier in them.
Yes, exploitation, kung fu, and all the rest of it. But so what the restaurant had to do is at a certain time it had these special blinds that used to come down because all these people were sitting there and they were sort of like, so we're having their lovely meal with their kids and there's people fucking, like in the background through the windows. So, oh God, yeah, that was, anyway, so.
Look away, children, look away.
But what I was trying to say is this is definitely definitely drive-in cinema material though.
Can I give it my rating?
Yes, that's what we were getting to that.
This is a movie that time has forgotten, and for very good reason. I'm giving it 0 Erics.
0 Erics?
0.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel infested by this film.
Can you give us that line, Velvet? The infested line?
Oh, I'm infested!
That's it.
That was
That's exactly how I
from Ticks.
That's right.
That's exactly how I feel. There's some things you can just sit through. Not this.
Yes, you found this. So how many out of 15 is that, guys? We've got a 0.
Oh my goodness!
I gave it 2.5. But
I gave it 3. So is that 5?
5.5 out of 15. Eric Roberts. That's pretty bad, guys.
I think it's generous, guys. I think you've been extremely generous.
Look, I would actually say to people that for me personally, if you've got an hour and 19 minutes and you enjoy cheesy old creature feature, I'd still say check it out. But if you're not into that older creature feature, then you probably are going to find it pretty dull. But if you're someone like me, yeah, you definitely want to see it.
Can I endorse that statement? If you are someone like him, you will love it.
But you would say to people, Velvet, yeah, give it a try, hop on YouTube and watch it?
Yeah, this is definitely just but know what you're getting into. Bad acting, cheap budget, silly, unbelievable, not scary at all, not suspenseful. I mean, you have to B grade horror movies to enjoy this. And if you do, you'll like this one.
Actually, but before we just take a break and move on to the third film, I just wanted to ask, what did everybody think? You know, the two sort of like drifters who are in the town, they're meant to be sort of like the young adults rather than the teenagers and the full-grown adults. And we see inside their house where they live.
The bed sit.
And it's basically just a bed sit, but from the outside it looks like a mansion. On the inside it's a one room apartment. But did you notice there's only one single bed? So these two guys must have been like hot swapping the bed or something.
Yeah,
I mean,
or that the budget just the prop budget didn't extend to two beds.
I just wondered if anybody else noticed that, if it was me.
But they were just too chummy for my liking. They both deserve to die horribly.
well, we do of course lose one of them, don't we? Early on, who is
Mr. Enthusiastic, I think we could call him.
Well, this is how the whole because I don't think we've actually said this, is that in the movie, this is where the teenagers sort of like are not believed by the grown-ups, if you like, because when they've run over the alien, the other aliens come and collect the body, they kill this other guy, and then go and of course put him underneath the car. So the adults think that, yeah, they've run over a human rather than run over an alien. And but you were exactly right, Velvet, when you sort of said that there was all the stuff about when they do the autopsy, and it's just not explained properly. That's the thing I found.
And you're looking for consistency in a film that's earned 0 Erics from me. I just say, if you want to watch this film, keep an eye on the work of Shirley MacLaine. She's fantastic.
Do we know which character she was, just out of interest?
You can just tell.
It says she was the diner waitress.
The diner waitress at the start. Yeah, she wasn't bad, actually, to be honest. What did you think, though, Velvet, of the guys trying to pick her up?
Story of my life.
Well, that was the best dialogue of the whole film.
What, the cheesy pickup lines in the restaurant with all these guys trying to pick her up.
What was the line? It must have hurt when you fell from heaven. Can we buy you a drink to comfort you from the pain? No, no, fuck off.
Oh yeah, it's
it was terrible.
And then there's the thing where she tries to get the Air Force officer who's having dinner to go and recruit the 3 guys. Like, what's in it for her? Why is she trying to get the Air Force officer to recruit these 3 guys sitting in the restaurant?
She's a patriot, Warren. Don't mock her.
Oh, it's patriot. Oh God. All right, well, we should probably move on from the eye creatures.
I need a drink.
And we shall be right back.
I worked in the garden center, and a lady came in, and we had the flowers and the plants, and she asked me how much the chlamydias were.
The Only Funny to Us podcast, available now at onlyfunnytous.com.
Well, we're back with movie number 3, and I have to admit, guys, this is my favourite of all 3. I actually really like this one. and this is Terror Beneath the Sea from Japan in 1966. Now, I don't know. I think that the best way to describe this movie is it's Creature from the Black Lagoon crossed with James Bond. It's a really weird movie. It's because it's got like creatures in it, but it's more like a James Bond film actually than it is a monster movie. I mean, we've got submarines, we've got big battles under the ocean, we've got an evil weird guy who's trying to take over the world in an underwater city. We've then got our sort of almost like hero, who is what's his name again? Sonny
Bono.
Chiba.
Yes,
Sonny Chiba.
Sonny Bono.
I don't know why I fell for that joke again.
I know.
Stop it, Andrew. Stop making me laugh.
And who almost plays, even though he's meant to be a reporter, but he plays a bit of a Bond-esque sort of character. And what did everybody think? And then we'll give everyone a bit of a rundown of what the film's about. Andrew, what were your thoughts on Terror Beneath the Sea?
Well, may I say, this is the closest I've come to being terrified. Well, from today's selections, this is definitely the sit still, that girl over there. It was it was good fun. This was good fun. I mean, it is very, very silly, as you would expect. But this film has actually got a budget. And this film actually had a premise, and it had what I look for in a film. Call me old-fashioned. It's got a start, a middle, and an end. So I found this somewhat more satisfying than the eye creatures. And you're right, it's definitely drawing on a lot of Bond themes and motifs. I think the evil genius that's built his underwater lair was very much like one of the Bond... what was the main...
Well, Blofeld.
Henry Blofeld. Very Blofeld. Because also, like, he was the inventor. I think he was the first Monty Burns. Because one of the best lines...
Monty Burns?
Yeah, because one of the best lines in the whole film is when our evil genius, our underwater genius, tenses his fingers and says, "Excellent. Excellent." Prototype Monty Burns right there.
Actually, you are quite right. I'd almost forgotten him. He does do that. He actually really does. What did you think? What did you think, Velvet?
Oh, I like this one a lot. I agree with you, Warren. I like this one the best out of our three selections for this week. This one has a lot going on. It's really fun, actually. And the actual terror, when you see the terror from beneath the sea, is actually pretty scary looking. Once you get past the fact that you can see the zipper on his back, and in one scene, one's fighting, and you can see a rip in the underarm of the suit. But other than that, I really like this one. I really like this one.
It's well, I suppose we'll just give everyone just a very quick rundown. So the movie basically starts on a submarine, which has a whole heap of reporters on it, and they're testing a brand new type of torpedo, and the reporters are there to report on it. And but during this exercise, they see a body on the video camera, basically in the water. And they first start to wonder whether maybe there's actual people on the target submarine, or what, who is this person in the water? What is going on? But of course, we will later find out that it is in fact the Terror. They are these underwater creatures, very similar to the creature from the Black Lagoon. In fact, I'm amazed just how similar they actually look. I pretty much say that they're copied off them, to be honest. So, but anyway, weird stuff is happening on this island after the submarine comes back. So our hero and heroine decide to go off scuba diving to see if they can try to find out, what is going on. And that's where they meet the Terror, or one of the Terrors. She takes a photograph of it. Of course, she loses the camera. Nobody believes her, because it's very sexist movie, this one, because she's just a woman. But in the end, they go back to try to see if they can find this Terror again. They get captured, taken down to an underwater city, and of course, by this stage, then the Navy finds her camera, realises that there really are monsters living under the ocean, and then go to try to rescue them. Oh, that's pretty much it in a nutshell.
From the underwater lair. The underwater city.
Yes, yes, because they're in the underwater
which Monty
city.
Burns has built
Yes.
off the island.
But like you were mentioning, Andrew, that he reminded you a bit of Monty Burns. But I love him because in the sense that he's like that Italian villain from the 1960s. You know, like in a lot of sort of spaghetti movies.
Yeah.
You know, just like he wears these wraparound sunglasses and he never takes them off.
And he wears, I think, either velour or velvet. But it was quite stylish, actually, because some of the costumes of these things are a bit manky.
Yeah.
But he's definitely a very stylish evil genius.
Yes. I think so. I thought he was kind of a cool villain. Did you like him, Velvet?
I did. I liked this movie a lot. I thought the storyline was actually pretty fun, especially when you found out the terror, that there was more than one of them, and then when you also found out that the terrors were humans.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
But hang on, we've missed something, guys. We've missed something really important. That this film also has a lot of Western actors in it, but our friend, the main character in this, Julie, is played, or Lisa or something, is played by our friend...
Oh, Peggy Neal. Of course,
yeah.
yes.
And this time, like, she's very close to Sonny Bono, and there was...
Sonny Chiba.
Yeah,
and also Franz Gruber is in this movie again, too.
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
also in this movie.
But he should have been the evil genius, because the Nazi god would have built his underwater lair. But with Julie and Sonny Bono, there is actually the frisson. There's the hint of interracial love.
Because I don't think it's just hinted. I think they're actually meant to be going out with each other.
But in Western films,
so.
it just wouldn't have happened. And it was definitely, they're quite fruity, those two. They clearly enjoyed each other's company.
It's, well, yeah. I mean, it's but they made a pretty cool couple, to be honest.
Yeah, I thought they were a good-looking couple. Yeah.
Cute kids.
You know, but it's, but one of the things, though, is that Peggy Neal in this movie is very different to the character she plays in The Ets from Outer Space. I mean, in The Ets from Outer Space, she's, she's very intelligent. She's not, she's prepared to get her hands dirty. You know, she's not scared or terrified of, of various different things. But in this one, she is cast in such a sexist light. You know, like
she's totally the damsel in distress, screaming every 5 seconds. Oh.
And dropping the camera while she's underwater, that's the equivalent of twisting her ankle while being chased by a monster.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is pretty much the same thing, isn't it? Yeah. It just, and it's terrible. I mean, they don't really do it anymore in movies, but yeah, that, the woman always falls over at a critical moment, twists her ankle, gets trapped, or, and just screams and whatnot. It's, yeah, I mean, did that bother you, Velvet? That sort of sexist element?
I honestly expect that from movies during this time, but it depends on how much they scream. And she screamed a bit too much, because I'm just like, oh, shut up.
Shut up. Yeah. Can I also talk about some of the other really interesting things about this film? Like, I don't know whether you picked up on this, Velvet, because, okay, it's science fiction and it's monsters, so you just go with it. But the opening scene of this, there's a press conference being held by, a Navy, possibly the US Navy or the World Navy or something. But they're holding a press conference in a submarine underwater.
Yes.
What could possibly go wrong? Sorry,
this movie was a high tech.
That's right. During a weapons test, what could go wrong?
This was high tech.
It's but this does also play this movie with the environment, the fact that, for instance, in this, the evil genius is tapping into all the dumped radioactive material, which we, have basically just buried, in the ocean and so forth. So it's sort of playing with that idea of, our technology of today could come back to bite us in the arse if we're not careful. So there's some interesting sort of stuff in here, but to go back to the sexist bit of it, have you noticed that they obviously or our evil genius tries to turn our hero and heroine into terrors, into the monsters. But of course, the process gets stopped, halfway through. But they've got like this I don't know what you would call it. This
It is dried semen. They have dried semen on their chin throughout the rest of the movie. That is exactly what that is. Not that I would know.
No, of course not.
That's what I've been told.
Monster jizz.
That looks like dried semen.
It's monster
a lot of
jizz.
it. It's a bukkake gone unfinished.
There was
on their
more.
faces.
There was more slime there than a Republican convention. It was truly revolting.
But so they're running around the underwater city with this. So what are we calling it now, guys? Monster jizz? Is that
dried?
Dried monster jizz.
Monster glaze.
So they're running.
Donut glaze.
Yeah,
It could be donut glaze. It doesn't have to be human. It could be a sugary mixture.
True.
No, it's new from L'Oreal. Monster jizz. You look 10 years younger.
So is this going to be a bit like what was the aftershave, the cologne from Anchorman?
That's why Peggy Neal doesn't make any movies anymore. She was like, "Oh my god, they put this clear goo on me."
But even now, she looks 10 years younger.
And it was too traumatic because we didn't see the behind the scene footage where she was on her knees surrounded by a group of men masturbating to create the substance for the special effects. So that's why Peggy Neal no longer makes movies. She was traumatized by the preparation for this movie.
Now we know what the eye creatures were doing in the shrubs. Providing the raw material for terror under the sea.
I don't know. It just reminded me of that clone.
Sex Panther.
What is it? 70% of the time it works. 50% of the time it works.
70% of the time it works. 100% of the time. In fact, I'm wearing it now.
So that's why you smell like Bigfoot's cock. That's right.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
But we digress.
Yes. But what I was trying to get to was, oh my god, that's the first time I think on this podcast we've ever spoken about monster jizz. But anyway,
it won't be the last time.
No.
Maybe it'll be a new sponsor.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Monster jizz shaving cream.
Yes,
it only looks like
jizz.
Was that no? But anyway,
raspberry.
Was Peggy? Oh my god!
Come on, boys, take this seriously.
Was Peggy Neal is when she sort of gets rescued, but she doesn't want to live anymore because she's still got the monster jizz on her.
It never comes off.
So it's the sexism that's played through this is
That's right. She wouldn't look at a mirror. She was just decided she was so horrible. Don't look at me.
Yeah,
and it was bizarre.
Yeah, that really was a fucked up message.
I know,
but I didn't. Yeah, I mean, I at the time I was like, oh, that's silly. But now I'm really thinking about it. I'm like, yeah, that's a really horrible message. If you're not a good-looking woman, just kill yourself.
Yeah,
There's
I know.
No point in living.
Although I have to say that the evil genius Monty Burns, he's got great fashion sense because after the monsters had captured them from the water and brought them into his underwater lair, and they wake up and they're these beautiful matching top and trousers and little white booties.
Yeah.
And I think, how
Very
did that
stylish.
happen? Yeah,
Very
stylish. They had their measurements right and everything.
Yes, but that always happens though. Like you think about it, whenever James Bond and his I don't know what you call Bond girl, I suppose, gets captured and they're taken to the evil, lair of Blofeld or whoever it happens to be in this movie.
And there's
They always happen to have clothes that are their exact size, because you notice that the girl will always then get dressed in one of two things, a dinner gown, like a little black dress, or a bikini. It's always one of the two. And Bond, there'll always be a tuxedo ready for him, when he arrives.
Yeah, you're right. They never dress them up as Pumpkin Patch Kids or anything.
Or like a potato sack.
Which is what I would do to humiliate them. There's no nightgown for you, dear. There's no pearls and no plunging netlines. Get in the sack.
But
just a fig leaf. That's all you get.
Just a fig leaf. But what does everybody think? Do you reckon this is more a creature feature, or do you think this is actually like more of a Bond type adventure film? Or is it just actually a mixture of the two thrown together?
I think it's a creature feature sci-fi action film.
Yes, so we're covering a lot of bases there.
I agree with Velvet.
Yes.
I did like the actual story because it was kind of just like a mad scientist gone mad. This guy has the capability to do anything with this knowledge. He's like he calls what we're calling the terrors. He eventually reveals to be humans that he's calling water cyborgs. So he's mechanizing humans to be basically amphibious beings. They can be on land or water, and he has complete control over them. So I mean, like this guy has crazy technology and intelligence, but he uses it for evil. And also, he wants to make it over in his, like, image. You know, he's got a god complex. He wants to create this underwater society of water cyborgs that he controls. I mean, it's a really cool story, actually.
Yeah, and do you recall, Velvet, how he controls them?
With the knob? The work fight stop knob.
But
I know.
But his actual phrase was, I use supersonic signals.
Supersonic signals.
But it's kind of like a dog whistle.
Yeah.
It's very Jet Age, isn't it?
You turn the knob to fight, and you turn the knob to work, and when you want him to stop, you turn the knob to stop. It's pretty cool.
They're very literal, these monsters. The thing I found most disappointing about the monsters, because they were quite creepy, especially even the underwater scenes with those guys, there were no air bubbles like they had an aqualung or anything. They were actually look quite at home in the water. But I think the thing which I found most disappointing was the fact that they were cross-eyed.
They were, weren't
so
they?
It made them look kind of a bit. I felt quite sorry for them. I felt quite warm towards them. I thought,
you're like, somebody give them some corrective eye surgery, please. I mean,
if they'd been like Marty Feldman, their eyes pointing in different directions, that would have been.
Well, it's a bit like, was it Clarence, the cross-eyed lion in what was that? Daktari, yeah.
But we digress.
Well, you know, I loved that show as a kid. Actually, is it Daktari or Dottari?
Daktari.
Was it Dot?
Dak. But we digress.
Okay, yes. But yeah, the suits, like you pointed out, Velvet, before. Sometimes, you know, yes, we can see the zips.
And there was a fight scene where I saw one of the guys had his arm up and he's fighting a guy and there was a rip on his underarm and you could see his human skin underneath his costume.
Although, in fairness, Velvet, I mean, we do know that under all the monster jizz, that's, you know, they are still humans.
Oh, so you think that's what?
That's
what it was?
so funny. Yeah. I've never seen a fucking outfit ripped in a movie.
I know.
I
know.
All right. Now, can I ask something, guys? I have a confession. There is a couple of scenes where these guys jump in a light plane and fly over the water. Now, I don't know what they're doing because I fell asleep for 10 minutes.
Well, they're meant to be the reporters who are watching the underwater battle between the baddies' castle under the sea, and the American submarine. So they're sort of watching it.
Right.
So they're meant to be our eyes, if you sort of like. But it doesn't really work because, in a sense, they're not really necessary to the plot.
I couldn't work out what they're meant to be doing.
You know, I think it's almost just to show that the press was still there.
Right.
You know, they were trying to help find their friends who had been captured by this evil genius. But yeah, it wasn't really needed.
No, because I woke up and I thought, well, who are you?
Yeah.
But when they showed the scene where somebody got kidnapped and this mad scientist doctor is showing them how he makes a water cyborg, they did a stop motion transformation. Did you guys like that?
Yes, yeah, I thought that was pretty good actually.
Yeah, I like that. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Some stop motion transformation. That must have taken for fucking ever. But yeah, it paid off. I like that.
The special effects in this, I think they're pretty good. I mean, they're typically Japanese. I mean, so the model making for the 1960s is excellent.
It was the underwater scenes and the guys flying above in the little aeroplane. I thought that was very, very good. And like all the rockets and torpedo stuff, the best bits.
It's very much. I mean, I think one of the things about Japanese sort of model making, if you want to call it that, from the 1960s, is that, I mean, many of us, who remember things like the Thunderbirds and all the Jerry Anderson sort of television. The model making in that is, of course, just so amazing. But I would say that what the Japanese were doing at the same time was actually is just as good. It's like the model making that they do is actually it was so much better than what the Americans or the Europeans were doing, you know, at the same time. Would everyone sort of agree with that or not?
Oh, totally.
Well, they definitely pay a lot of attention to detail. So definitely. Oh, and also, what'd you think of the marine snow? Because they were at 3,000 feet.
What the hell was that?
Does
It's like fucking whale dandruff.
it's whale dandruff.
They were 3,000 feet down. What the fuck was that?
Yeah, is that? I'm assuming that's just a totally made up thing.
I think
Underwater
so too.
snow.
But that was,
Leftover
that
special
part made me
effects
laugh
budget. So they go,
out loud
let's
when they said,
we'll sprinkle
it's
some.
snowing,
Yeah.
snowing underwater because we're 3,000 feet deep. It's marine snow. I mean, that was the reasoning. They're like, oh, that's how we know we're 3,000 feet deep because there's marine snow. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, I think it's leftover special effects budget. So they go, fuck it, we've got some magic woofle dust here, so let's just go sprinkle.
Well, I suppose it was. It was used to so our characters would know just how deep they were. So the idea is because there was this underwater snow, that meant that underwater snow happens at 3,000 feet. So that meant that they knew that they were 3,000 feet under. But it's underwater snow. I mean,
that was ridiculous.
just-
I like this movie, but that was ridiculous.
yeah.
Sorry, you're struggling with underwater snow, and yet you can deal with Monster G's transformations.
Well,
Oh, well.
What's wrong with this
you
picture,
know,
folks?
You know what? Humans are the real monsters, and humans make jizz. I can handle the monster jizz concept. I'm like, that's more plausible to me than the whole underwater snow.
Oh my goodness. Well, look, I mean, I actually really. As I said at the start, this was actually my favourite. You know, of these three.
Yeah, definitely.
I think it's pretty well paced. It moves, you know, pretty well. It's got some very cheesy moments in it.
Oh, totally.
But it's still, the story still holds you in. You know, it's pretty well written. It's still cheap. You know,
but the sequences are well shot, and there's good fun and action.
Yes,
it's silly, but it's no sillier than James Bond.
Well, a little bit sillier, I suppose. Probably not with the budget of a James Bond movie for the time.
I don't know why they don't use Monster Jizz more often in the Bond franchise.
Oh, totally.
You
totally.
know? Everyone would go to a Bond film then.
Oh my goodness! But look, I actually really like this one. I would actually, of all the three films, even though the It's from Outer Space is probably the most famous of the ones we've spoken about, but I think Terror from Beneath the Sea is probably the best, you know, of the three. So I am actually going to give this one 4.5. I'm going to give it 4.5 Erics because I believe on the Eric Roberts scale, this has got pretty much everything in it that you'd want, including Monster Jizz. So I reckon, you know.
Okay, I was going to give this 4 Eric Roberts, but this line from the movie towards the end, just for some reason, it just bumped it up for me half a point. This is when they said killed by a cyborg he himself created. So this is now a 4.5 Eric Roberts from me.
Well, there was one point towards the end, Velvet, where I actually thought they were going to break into song. And had they,
was it the marine snow part?
No, it was in the last 5 or 10 minutes. Like, it was going to be a Sound of Music moment. I thought, oh, this is interesting. And had they done that, you know, like, so, you know, sung the virtues of Monster Jizz or Your Skin or something, I would have given it an extra Eric. But as it is, I'm giving it 3 Erics.
3 Erics. Oh, well, that's pretty good then. We've scored this one.
Still watchable.
Pretty high.
You know, well, as far as these things go.
Yeah, but the other thing too is that the print.
In the real world, compared to say Blade Runner, this is 0.0000. But in the realm of the Erics, this is a very good manifestation.
In the world of Eric,
yes,
in the world of Eric Roberts,
it's gold. It's
good.
Pure gold.
It's good. But also the print quality on YouTube of this movie is not bad.
No, sorry, if you say that, Warren.
Yeah,
because I did find my enjoyment of the other films was actually dictated a lot by the quality of the print
Yes.
the upload, and some of the others, the ones I watched, were a bit ropey.
Yeah.
But this was actually not a bad print.
It's and the other thing too we should point out, we didn't mention it with It's from Outer Space, is that both these movies we're actually watching the American version. So it's not actually so the versions that you'll find on YouTube are the American release version. So they're all fully in English, they're all dubbed. They're not Japanese with English subtitles. So they're very easy to watch. You don't have to worry about,
Right.
As I know, subtitles don't worry me, but I know it worries a lot of people.
Yeah, a lot of people don't like reading films.
No, reading films. No, that's good. Well, I reckon this was a winner, Terror from Beneath the Sea. So I really recommend everyone go and watch this.
Now, guys, you're more expert than me. I prefer sort of a bit more mainstream sci-fi myself. So how many films are of this kind in the canon, in the library of Japo action monster films?
Let's see.
I mean, we'll be talking hundreds.
Let's see what they recommend. If you go to IMDb, they say people who like the Terror from the Beneath the Sea also like the X from Outer Space, but they also like, let's see what we got. Gok, Body Snatcher from Hell.
Ooh.
And what else we got? The Abominable Snowman. We got a couple here. El Pazzo di Santana. So look, we even got some Italian horror that they're linking it to. Then they have one written fully in Japanese that I cannot read. But looks like a man in a superhero suit painted in gold. And then they got a Space Probe Taurus.
Oh, now you're talking.
From 1965. So yeah, we got a couple options here. So if you want to go further down the rabbit hole, I recommend getting on imdb.com, type in Terror Beneath the Sea, and check out people who like this also liked, and that'll give you some movie suggestions that are similar to this genre.
The thing for me is that I love these Japanese dubbed movies from the 60s. It's just, these creature features. I just think that the Japanese did it so well, and in a sense too, they're very family friendly. They're not scary in the slightest, although it's not 100% true. Godzilla was actually seen as a bit of a groundbreaking movie when it very first came out.
Right.
In the late 50s. But
Yeah. I think the essential truth, though, Warren, here is that, yes, you're right, these are family-friendly, but with the entertainment options today, I think you'd have to nail your kids to the floor to make them watch.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, totally. Or you have to have a very intelligent kid. And I know every parent thinks their kid is the smartest kid on the planet, but seriously, your kid's going to have a IQ off the charts to have an attention span to pay attention to these storylines.
Either that or dumb as a box of hammers.
Yeah, you have to be one extreme or other. You can't be in between. If you're a child.
Dear.
Box of hammers here.
But one thing I can say is that all these films, no matter how bad they are, and all the rest of it, they're still better than The Room.
Oh my God. Okay, every single movie we watch tonight is so bad it's good. Whereas The Room is so bad it's fucking terrible. It's just, yeah.
We could have actually have changed the rating system, I suppose. Instead of using Eric Roberts, we could have used spoons.
We can use spoons. We can use Tommy Wiseau's.
Yeah, Tommy Wiseau's. Tommy Wiseau's. Yeah, that's But so anyway, on the Eric Roberts scale, this one did pretty well. So
definitely. How many?
So definitely check it out. So I think we've sort of come to the end. That's that's our sort of 1960s tribute to creature features, I suppose. You could also maybe call it the Petty Neal episode, because obviously she was in two of them.
Yeah, we got 2 or 3, exactly. She only did 3 movies, and we already did 2 of
them.
What's the third one? What's the third one she did? It's I have no idea what the fuck that is. It's in Japanese. It's Kureiji Ogon Sokusen. So, I have no idea what that is. Sorry, guys. Can't help you there. No clue.
So,
not even a fucking synopsis. There's no image
nothing
of the
at all.
box cover. This is her underground porn tape. This is what this is. Because it doesn't tell you what it's about. It has no box cover. It just has the name and the cast, which is usually a good sign of a porno on IMDb.
So we've got Terror from Beneath the Sea. We've got It's from Outer Space, and what Peggy does
and
Tokyo.
Her underground porn. Peggy does Tokyo.
Yeah.
No, it's actually the last movie she did, so it might be. It's 2 hours and 37 minutes long, so it might be a compilation.
I'd watch it.
And it says it's action adventure comedy. That sounds like a porno to me.
Yeah.
Interesting. Interesting. We may see the reemergence of monster jizz.
I'll stop it.
But all joking aside, love you, Peggy Neal. Thank you for your cinematic legacy that you left behind way too soon. I think you were just getting started, but I hope you're happy wherever you are now, and you're living the life of your dreams.
Absolutely. I've become quite a big Peggy Neal fan, actually, after this.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I wish there was more, but yeah.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know.
I'd like her to do a musical with Peggy Lee. I love Peggy Lee. Hey, can I put you guys on the spot?
Yes.
What are you reviewing next week? Any ideas?
Oh, haven't even decided yet.
I don't think we've even decided yet. No. So
go into the Throbotron and check it out.
Throbotron.
Totally.
What is a Throbotron from?
Well, that's the movie selecting device.
The Throbotron.
Yeah.
That's from a movie though, isn't it? The Throbotron.
Kenny Everett, I think.
Oh, was it Kenny Everett?
Yes.
Oh, what was the character he had? Captain Kremen.
No, I think the Throbotron was from Hot Gossip. They pop out of the Throbotron.
The Hot Gossip dancers came out of the Throbotron.
Yes.
They're sadly missed comedian, isn't he? Kenny Everett.
So no idea what's happening next week.
No, we will make our minds
yet.
up. January, so any suggestions are definitely welcome. Most definitely welcome. So anyway, we are just ranting. I think so. So thanks everybody for listening into podcast 18. That's right. Yes, I always get it wrong, don't I? So podcast 18. So we will, of course, be back next week with podcast 19. I hope you guys are, enjoying listening to the show. We're having fun and, obviously, as you can tell, don't take it all that seriously. But you can, of course, shout outs. You can, of course, follow this podcast on Twitter. It is simply it's simply Cult Movie Show, or one word. You can, of course, follow me at Martini Superdry on Twitter. You can, of course, like the show on Facebook as well. And as always, want to say thank you to the guys at Only Funny to Us. They, of course, are at OFTU Podcast. You can follow them on Twitter, where you can hear their podcast. They help us out a lot, so we always say thanks to them. And, of course, as always, thanks to Alana Evans. You can follow her on Twitter at Alana Evans XXX. And we always say thank you because, of course, she provides the music for this show. So, Velvet, take it away.
All right. If you want to know more about me and my shenanigans, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at OMG It's Velvet. But please be 18 years or older, since I obviously engage in adult behavior, and so I want you to be an adult too. Take it away, Andrew.
So, anything you want to spruik or shout out or?
No, not really.
You're still
I learned
surviving.
a new word.
Yeah. I just said thanks for having me, guys. It's been a lot of fun. I hope we can do another one, a really meaty sci-fi one sometime. And I can't tell you how much I enjoy listening to the show. I was anxiously await for it to get uploaded to iTunes, and I hope we'll all catch up soon. And may good Lord not let you pass away until we next meet. Let's go and have
Yeah, right on. Excellent. Thanks for coming on, Andrew.
Oh, no, nice to meet you, Velvet, and let's go and have a Diet Scotch, Warren.
Diet Scotch. Yes, so no, absolutely. Thank you for being on the show, Andrew. It was really, really cool. So that's a wrap, and we will leave you as we do every week with Alana Evans and Perfect.
Perfect.